China vs. U.S. military power comparison. In this episode, we're diving into the hard power aspects of China versus the U.S. Defense budgets, troop numbers, air power, ground forces, and naval strength. Let's start with the basics. 1. Defense budgets and personnel budget. The U.S. spends approximately $9 to $16 billion on defense, which translates to about 3.4% of its GDP. China's defense budget, on the other hand, is significantly smaller at $408 billion, though it's been on a steady rise. As a percentage of GDP, China's defense spending comes out to about 1.7%. This disparity in budget reflects the different security environments and strategic priorities of both nations. The U.S., with its global commitments and adversaries like Russia and China, naturally spends more on defense than China, which is still modernizing its military and primarily focuses on regional challenges. Armed Forces Context Education. Active personnel. China fields around 2.03 million active personnel compared to the U.S. with about 1.36 million. Reserves. China has a larger reserve force with about 2 million, while the U.S. has about 800,000. These figures may seem skewed in China's favor, but it's important to note that the quality and training of U.S. troops are generally considered to be higher. Now let's move on to air power. Aircraft totals. U.S. Hoi 13200, 13300 total aircraft 24/7. Wall-Saint +1 Atlas of Wars Context Education. China. Between 260 to 5200 total aircraft context education. Atlas of Wars Armed Forces 24/7 Wall-Saint Wikipedia. Fighters. U.S. What 900 plus fighters, including F-22, F-35, F-15, F-16 Context Education Country Cassette. China. 2,100, 1,600 fighters, J-20, J-10, Su-35, etc. 24/7 Wall-Saint Context Education. MyNews98.com. Gisli. PLAF alone has around 2,989 combat aircraft, including 300-plus J-20 stealth fighters, Wikipedia +1. Support aircraft, U, on to ground forces. Tanks, U.S. 4640, 6,600. China, 5,6,800. China edges ahead in some figures, 24/7. Wall-Saint +1 Context Education Philstar Atlas of Wars Armed Forces. Armored vehicles. U.S. 38,600 armored vehicles, 1,500 self-propelled and 1,200-plus towed artillery, 1,300 rocket projectors Context Education Philstar. China. 15,800 armored vehicles, 3,490 self-propelled, 1,000 towed artillery, 2,750 rocket artillery 24/7 Wall-Saint Armed Forces Philstar. China leads in sheer artillery quantity. Moving on to naval power. Fleet size. China. 754 777 ships, largest by number, but mostly smaller vessels. Context Education Armed Forces News. Comyache IUSTL News. U.S. 440 484 ships, with stronger large ship capability. Context Education 24/7 Wall-Saint Shabuyas News. Kamyuriayu. This is where things get interesting. While China boasts the largest navy by vessel count, it's primarily composed of smaller patrol and attack craft. The U.S., on the other hand, has a smaller but more capable fleet with a significant edge in aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers, U.S., 11 supercarriers. China, 3 active, with a 4th under construction. Context Education, Shibuya's MyNews98.com, The Times. Submarines, U.S., 68, 70 nuclear subs. China, 61, 79 subs, including conventional and nuclear. Context Education 24/7, Wall-Saint MyNews98.com, STL News. Next, Advanced Systems and Strategic Weapons. Nuclear Arsenal, U.S., 5,244 warheads, 1,600 deployed. China, 410 warheads, projected growth to 600 plus, will reach a 500 by 2035. Context Education, The Guardian. China's unveiled nuclear triad, land, sea, air, and new DF-61 ICBM, JL-3 SLBM, air-launched nukes in parade. The Guardian AP News. Technological advancements. China displayed hypersonic missiles, YJ-20, drone swarms, laser weapons, robot wolves, underwater drone systems, AP News The Times. U.S. continues to push 6th-gen fighters, F-47 under NGAD program, and combat drones, CCA YFQ-42A, YFQ-44A, Gisli Atlas of Wars, via infographic Atlas of Wars. Finally, current challenges. U.S. faces munitions shortages from simultaneous global commitments. Rebuilding industrial base is ongoing the week. China continues rapid military expansion under military-civil fusion, closing naval gaps news. Commerce AU. Leadership changes and anti-corruption purges within PLA aim to strengthen military effectiveness, The Washington Post. This comparison reveals an interesting dynamic. While the U.S. still holds a significant edge in terms of overall capabilities and technological advancement, China's sheer scale and rapid modernization efforts are posing a growing challenge. In terms of defense budget, the U.S. spends more than 3 times as much as China. However, China's budget has been on a steady rise, indicating its commitment to military modernization. In terms of personnel, China has a larger force, but the U.S. focuses on quality and training. When it comes to aircraft and naval vessels, China's larger numbers don't necessarily translate to greater capability due to the disparity in technology and strategic intent. Both countries continue to invest in advanced systems and technologies, but the U.S. seems to have a slight edge in areas such as stealth and nuclear capabilities. The U.S. faces challenges such as munitions shortages and aging infrastructure, while China grapples with untested systems and potential corruption issues. In conclusion, the U.S. still holds a considerable advantage over China in terms of overall military capabilities. However, China's rapid modernization and expansion of its military should not be underestimated. The People's Republic of China is investing heavily in its military capabilities and closing the gap with the United States. Whether you want to know more about military history, current affairs, or defense technology, make sure to subscribe for regular updates. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.